Shocking stat says a lot about Caitlin Clark, Fever's embarrassing loss against Valkyries. Shocking stat says a lot about Caitlin Clark, Fever's embarrassing loss against Valkyries originally appeared on Athlon Sports. To say that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever struggled on Wednesday against the Golden State Valkyries would be an understatement. What was supposed to be a joyous celebration of Clark's return from a 2-week injury absence turned into an embarrassing blowout loss for the Fever in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, 80-61. Unsurprisingly, Clark looked rusty in this one as the reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year shot just 4 of 12 from the field for 10 points. It wasn't just Clark who shot the ball poorly though, as this was an unwanted trend that plagued the entire Fever squad. Collectively, Indiana made 21 of 68 of their shots in the game. That's just 30.9%, which, according to Indiana reporter Brian Henshin of Indy Star, is the worst the Fever have shot as a team since 2019. This shocking stat from Wednesday's game says a lot, and there's no denying that it's one of, if not the most significant, reasons behind the Fever's deflating loss. On the season, Indiana is shooting 46.5% from the field, which represents their best shooting clip since the franchise was established in 2000. The fact that they shot almost 16% below their game-to-game average speaks volumes about how poorly they played against Golden State. The good news for Clark and company is that they get a chance to turn things around quickly. They are back in action on Friday in a home game against the Atlanta Dream, and, based on the law of averages, they should shoot much better than they did against the Valkyries. This story was originally reported by Athlon Sports on July 10, 2025, where it first appeared. Shocking stat says a lot about Caitlin Clark, Fever's embarrassing loss against Valkyries. By now, everyone in the basketball world has heard of Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom with a limitless range and an uncanny ability to electrify any arena. From her record-breaking college days at Iowa to her first professional season in the WNBA, Clark has brought with her not only a legion of fans but also sky-high expectations. But in the Fever's recent stunning loss to the Valkyries, a team with a lesser-known roster and a shorter history, one stat jumped out so powerfully it echoed louder than any box score. Caitlin Clark accounted for 83% of her team's total offensive output, either by scoring or assists. Let that sink in. 83%. In a professional game. In a league that celebrates team cohesion, ball movement, and strategic play calling, this one number says far more than the final score ever could. It's a mirror reflecting not just Clark's greatness but the growing pains of a franchise still learning how to evolve around her. The pressure of stardom. Clark came into the WNBA not just as a player, but as a brand. With endorsement deals, sold-out arenas, and the weight of revitalizing the league's popularity on her shoulders, she shouldered more than her fair share of expectations. But even the brightest stars need constellations to shine with. The Fever's 89-63 loss to the Valkyries was a reminder that individual brilliance cannot consistently outshine team dysfunction. Clark scored 26 points, dished out 9 assists, and pulled down 5 rebounds, numbers that, on their own, would typically anchor a win. But she was also trapped in a loop of isolation, forced to create shots late in the clock, double-teamed frequently, and often the only reliable offensive option on the court. The Valkyries knew this. They pounced. Valkyries defensive clinic. The Valkyries, a gritty and defensively tenacious team, came into the game as underdogs. But what they lacked in star power, they made up for in strategy and chemistry. They blitzed Clark on pick and rolls, forced her left, and rotated help with surgical precision. While Clark's shooting managed to break through occasionally, her teammates struggled mightily, combining for just 22% from the field and an abysmal 3 of 17 from beyond the arc. This wasn't just a defensive triumph, it was a masterclass in exposing a team's over-reliance on one player. One-woman army. Here's where the 83% figure becomes more than a number. It becomes a diagnosis. That kind of offensive dependency is unsustainable in the WNBA. Even legends like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and Maya Moore had teams built around them, not merely with them at the center, but with a support system that elevated everyone. The Fever, at this moment, seem lost in a paradox. They have Caitlin Clark, yet they don't quite know what to do with her. Clark, to her credit, has maintained her composure through the growing pains. She doesn't blame. She doesn't mope. But the frustration showed in subtle moments during the game. A delayed pass that turned into a turnover, a no call on a drive that ended in a fast break the other way, her clapping at the bench as if to will some life into them. She's trying to carry a franchise on her back, but the load is getting heavier.